Well, it's time to plant my gladiolas. You can see the, people call them bulbs, but they're actually corms. And that little plate under the bottom, and get one that's got a real big plate on it that you can see. There, see, that's a plate. And these are corms, not true bulbs. And this is what I keep them in. These are onion bags that you buy your onions in. And the nice thing about these bags is you can hang them up and the air gets to them just like they would if they were onions, and they won't dry out, and you can keep them in a place that's cool but doesn't freeze, and plant them the next year. Obviously these want to go in the ground. You need to be careful when you get these out. I will take a pair of scissors and cut this bag open in many places without damaging those tips, because I don't want to break them off. And since I've got 10 around the outside and be 4 in the middle, it'll be 14 corms, or Gladiolus Corms, and that will give me 14 flower spikes. I have this wire cage around them because I have tree rats and they love to dig up in new soil that you've just fooled with. And this is what they look like from last year. And I take that trash can right there and I scoop all this out, plus about an inch or so of the soil that's in there. And I put it in this barrel, and I throw this all in my compost pile. Now this is a few glads that I missed last year, but see how it's lower. I've got a wheelbarrow of compost over there. I will put compost in here. I will put bulb tone in here. I will try to work around it. The little Irish bubblets really don't matter. To facilitate time, I could dig all of the ones up in here and lay them to the side in the shade and plant all these, and then put all those in one little barrel by themselves. I use bulb tone. I'm an organic person, but it wouldn't matter to me if it didn't have organic on it. I'm growing bulbs. I don't eat the bulbs. Now that bulb tone right there says to use a hefty teaspoon size for each bulb. Well, some people might dig a hole in here, the proper depth. These need to be about 6-7 inches under the ground. And since I'm going to add 2 inches of soil up here, I need to put them about 5 inches under the ground. What I will do is lay these out in a pattern, because I don't have in my head how many it's going to take. But right there is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Let's say it's 14 in there. So I got to have 14 hefty teaspoons full. Now I can put that in a container that is a measuring cup and know how much it is. And then if it's like a quarter of a cup or a quarter of a cup and a half, I can just go around to each one of these barrels and dump sprinkle a quarter and a half or whatever it is, whatever that many teaspoons, full teaspoons is, in each bed, and stir it all in with a fork, you know, a big old garden fork, and get it all stirred in. And then I can plant all my bulbs. And then I can put my compost over it. And since the bulbs will be about 4 or 5 inches below the soil level, I can stir the compost in to this soil and mix it. Now this is pretty decent looking stuff, but it needs a little help. You can still see a little Osomocote left in there. And Osomocote is a nice thing to use in a bed in a barrel. Well, I'm going to do 14 bulbs in here, and it's 1.5 teaspoons of the bulb tone, and 14 times 1.5 is 21 heaping teaspoons, and that would equal 7 tablespoons, which isn't quite a half, but if all 7 were heaping, it would be a half, because 8 tablespoons equals a half, as I recall. So we're going to put a half a cup in each one and scatter it all around. Now it's very difficult to reach in these little bags and try to get a half a cup and get it level. It's a lot easier to do it if you have a can like this and you just walk around and do it. And the last little bit you can pour into this. It might make a half. But all I have to do is sprinkle it in. It's a lot better than putting 1.5 heaping teaspoons in every hole you put a bulb. So they've all got the bulb tone in them, and these smaller ones I just adjusted and put a little less in them. And all I have to do is stir them up. Gladiolas, these are large corms. See if I can find a small one. That would be a small corm. You'd plant that about 2 to 3 inches below the ground, the top of the soil. These you plant 4 to 6. I shoot for 6 because they get really tall. In good soil they can get 4 or 5 feet tall and they fall over. And if you plant them deeper, it just gives them a little more support and keeps them from falling over, although they will if they get heavy with flowers and it rains on them and the wind blows. Nice thing with this is I've lowered the soil in most of these barrels. This one not as much as the others, but you can see that barrel's down really low. These nice little trails have markings on them, so you know where 4 inches is. I can go down and actually separate it and just put one in the hole I made, and that'll be 4 inches. Then when I come back with 2 inches of compost, it'll be 6 inches under the ground. And since this will be 4 inches below that and 6 inches below the top with the compost in it, I can take my little 3-prong fork and stir the compost into this upper soil, and that'll help regenerate it. I like to use Osomocote, and the one I've got is flower and vegetable, and Gladiolus like a 5-10-5, and this is 14-14-14. But if you only use a ½ a teaspoon per bulb, and that's a little less than about 1/8 of a cup. And so I've gone around here and put 1/8 of a cup in each one of these, and I'm going to stir this up, and then I'll plant my corms, my gladiolus, and be done with it when I put my little cages back in to keep the tree rats out of it. You can see by these ingredients, phosphorus is the higher number, and they like 5-10-5. So in the bulb tone for bulbs and corms, it's getting a 3%, 5%, 3%. So by adding a little bit of the Osomocote, it is going to work with these corms. Well, I'm finished planting the gladiolus, and I've topped them off with compost and mixed it up and put the little fence back on top. It'll help support them when they get up. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with about 14 or 15 in each one. So that's about 75 of them, and that's going to be my nursery pot. Since I haven't put anything in the top of that, that reminds me that I haven't put anything in it. Like these are going to require a shade-loving plant over here, especially in that barrel. That I could put a flower in that likes a little sun. And that one too. Now all I have to do is water them in good. Those are the hostas that were underneath these holly bushes last year when I cut them back. They have definitely come back. This is one that will come back from seed, and there's several over there by that sailboat mast that came off a Hobie cat that got bent. I'm going to dig it up because it's got concrete under it. Take that martin hose off of it. We used to have martins, but the trees got too thick in here. Take it to the river and rewire it and make it a flagpole.